welcome again to another video. For those who do not know me yet, my name is Maya and I run a business that provides Filipino offshore staff to clients in the US, in Australia, and in the UK. So I'm here now with Tony. He runs a consulting practice in Australia for 20 years and he has hired virtual assistants before for short and long-term projects. So hello, Tony. How are you?
Maya, good to see you. Very good, thank you.
Good to see you too. All right, so Tony, we have viewers here from mostly from the Philippines who are currently virtual assistants or remote workers and aspiring ones as well. And I wanted to discuss with you why you started hiring virtual assistants and why from the Philippines, the good and the bad stories.
Yeah, for sure. I think what I needed is I'm very busy and I move around a lot and I've got a relatively small team, and I really wanted the flexibility of having someone that's always on call for me, but not necessarily in my office because I travel so much. So that was one of the reasons. Also, I get very busy at times and then at times I'm not so busy. So I wanted the flexibility of someone that can work long hours in some periods and then shorter hours in other periods. The other reason that I wanted someone that was virtual was that because I'm on the road so much, I couldn't commit to being in the office with staff members as much as I really should. So it just made more sense to have someone on my team, or people actually on my team that are more remote, because they're used to being wherever they are anyway, and they didn't need to be coming into my office on a regular basis. I don't really have many bad experiences, but the good experiences, well, some of the successes I've had so far anyway, were I needed my whole database completely sorted and updated, and the lady that you actually sourced for me, Maya, was just brilliant. Knew exactly what I was looking for. The accuracy was really good, and the database was about 10 years old, so it needed quite a lot of work. And she worked really hard and very fast and very accurately, and the cost of what it took to do that was a very welcome surprise, I would like to say to you, because I don't know how I couldn't have done it myself. There's no way I have that attention to detail, and it would have cost me a fortune to hire someone in Australia to do that for me. So that was one of my biggest success stories. But look, there's so many things that these guys can do. I needed to update my LinkedIn, for example, and make sure that I was connected with all the decision makers in my market. And that was another project I used someone offshore to do. And again, very accurate, very quick, very polite dealing with people in the Philippines too, I must say. There's certainly no language barrier, which has occurred in the past, and very strong communication and strong commitment from workers in the Philippines to help me do that project. So that's two of the biggest marketing projects that I've had, and I've got plenty more to do. There's lots I want to do around social media, direct marketing automation, and doing so much more with the really good database that has been built for me from the people that have helped me in the past, Mark.
That's good to know that you had a very good experience, and the researcher was really helpful to your business. Do you have any advice for aspiring virtual assistants or offshore worker? Because some are hesitant to start working remotely for clients. Do you have any advice for them? Because they're afraid of working remotely, and the offshore staff in the Philippines is just really shy to communicate with the foreign clients. Yeah. What's your advice to them?
No, I understand what you're saying. And look, if there was a negative experience I had, it was one of my offshore team members was not communicating effectively with me, and she had some health issues, and she wasn't telling me about it. And so one of the biggest pieces of advice I would give to anyone offshore is just be really honest, because in our culture here in Australia, we much prefer you to be direct and honest and tell us the truth, even if it's negative, rather than not perform, have problems, be late, make mistakes, and not explain why. Because if someone's sick, we would be very, I guess, forgiving and say, no problems, take some time off, get better, and we'll work through it together. So I think the biggest thing is not being afraid to communicate, and that we are all people. We're people too, and actually we need you as offshore staff just as much as you need us as an employer. So don't be shy. Just be polite, of course, but be honest and be direct. And I know that's not necessarily part of Philippines culture to really be direct and to potentially lose face over certain things. But for us, it doesn't matter. You can tell us anything, and we'd much prefer you to be honest than hide something from us, I think is my biggest piece of advice.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I'm just going to speak in Tagalog just to explain to everyone, because we have this term called mahinhin. So, for my fellow Filipinos out there, wag natin masyadong apply yung pagiging mahinhin when we work with foreign clients, because they really want direct and good communication with them. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And very good. And also, I think accuracy is really important as well. I would take accuracy over speed. I mean, speed is really important, but getting things accurate, like not making spelling mistakes on people's names, for example, is really important, because we're going to be sending electronic communications to those people, and we can't check every name if it's spelled right. And if someone's name is spelled wrong, it doesn't make us look good. So I think checking work and not being afraid to ask questions if you don't understand what's required for the job. I think that's the other piece of advice. If you're not sure, don't just say yes, 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 I understand, and smile.
Yeah, we always say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, right?
Well, that's right, and you don't need to. Our culture here and in America and the UK, it's exactly the same. We're beyond that yes, sir phase. We did that 50 years ago. We're more into first name basis. We want to form a good working relationship with our teams.
And that's why that's where I step in, and I'm like the middle person between the Filipino worker and client, because the Filipino worker would come to me and say, is it okay to ask Tony about this? Is it okay to request for a time off from Tony? Something like that. So they're still shy to ask that. Will they not be angry if I ask this? So yeah, so that's my experience too with working. But that's why I'm here as well, to explain to them that it's all right to ask.
It is.
What do you want to ask? Okay, so let's rephrase it. If there's something wrong with the question, then okay, this is the right way to approach this client.
Agree.
Yeah, because you mentioned about your good experience with offshore, I would like to share with you one of the comments of one of the clients. It says here, today marks your 3rd anniversary with us. So I just wanted to congratulate you on achieving this milestone, and thank you for the outstanding contribution you have made and continue to make. We had never utilized a researcher before you arrived, but it became very clear very quickly that not only did the researcher model work well, but we had the best researcher in the industry in you. So that's a very, very good comment from a client to a Filipino offshore worker or offshore staff. Yeah.
A very good comment.
I'm providing offshore workers to you and some of your friends who were asking some offshore workers from you. Do you have questions for me, Tony?
Yeah, no, certainly, Maya. I think it'd be interesting to know what are the benefits of using your company, Seaforce Global, for sourcing candidates versus me trying to source those candidates myself.
So there are lots of work involved in sourcing quality remote staff, Tony, and especially in the Philippines. So being in the recruitment industry for more than a decade, I do all the legwork for you. So I'll do all the sourcing and pre-screening, interviewing, and then once you have selected from the candidates that I have shortlisted, I complete the reference checks. So how good is that?
It's good. And there's no fee for that, right?
There's no fee for that.
No. And your fee is a small margin, as I understand it, Maya, a small margin that gets charged to the client on top of what's paid to the offshore staff member, yeah?
Correct, correct. And I also coach my offshore staff for free. There's no fee for that, because I hear from others that they charge for training and for an advance payment, but with me it's free.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's really good. And tell me though, how do you source the very best people? What's your sourcing strategy?
And I've been a recruiter for a long time, and I apply my recruiting skills. I post job advertisements, I headhunt, I interview the candidates myself, and then I present them to the clients just to make sure that they are really matched with the requirements.
Okay, and what about just checking that they are going to be good, and what happens is if the person doesn't work out and they're not meeting the client's expectations?
So if it doesn't work out, then I discuss with the client what is wrong, what the problem is, and then if they already decided to terminate the contract of that person, then I'm happy to replace. And I present a couple of candidates for them to select.
There's no cost to replace the person if it's not working out.
There is
Okay.
no cost.
That's really good, because obviously here in Australia it costs us a lot if we need to change staff if they're not working out, and we have to go through a very difficult process to do that. So all right, and then and Maya, there's two options, isn't there? There's work from home versus working in a I guess a centre in the Philippines. I've always had great experiences with work from home people. What's your view on the benefits of work from home workers?
In the Philippines, especially in the city, daily commutes last up to 3-4 hours. So it's a different situation when you hire them, because you're giving them a better opportunity. Aside from giving them a better opportunity, you are saving them from this 3 to 4 hour traffic. And they get to have this international experience as well by working remotely with you. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd imagine they're quite motivated then once they have secured a role with an overseas company. They'll be motivated to keep the job, because otherwise they'll have to go back to that horrible commute in a non-air conditioned bus in heavy traffic, right?
Correct. Especially now there's COVID, you're saving them from catching the virus.
Well, that's another benefit as well, isn't it? Yeah. And I guess you can have more quality of life, which many of us are seeing when we can work from home sometimes, more family time and not come home really late at night when you do have a family, yeah?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And all right then, what about public holidays? We kind of know that there's quite a few public holidays in the Philippines, and then we've got public holidays in other countries as well. How does it work when holidays do occur?
This would be a discussion that you can have with the offshore staff. Some are happy to work during Philippine holidays, and some may request to have time off, especially when they have family or kids, because the kids will be home and they want to spend more time with their family during public holidays. So it's a discussion for you to have with the offshore staff.
Okay, and now we talked a little bit about the communication process and my experiences in communication. What would be your advice on, being someone from the Philippines, communicating with offshore staff in the Philippines?
There are now many applications available like Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp, Viber. And some clients prefer to just communicate via email. So there are many ways to communicate with the client, and just make use of them. Just when like you mentioned earlier, if they are sick, then just use WhatsApp or Viber or Skype to message them and let them know. If you could not get up and use the laptop to send an email, or to let them know that you can't work.
Okay, but what about from our perspective as an employer? How should we best communicate with offshore staff?
The client should speak slowly at first, provide clear instructions to the offshore staff, and let the offshore staff staff repeat what they have said, just to make sure that they understand it very well. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. So double check the instructions are understood. And I tell you, one thing that I also like doing is asking them to send a little bit of a sample of the work that's required, because then before they do a lot of work, we can quickly see if they understand what's required and go, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Keep going and do that, yeah? Rather than just say, hey, here you are, I'll speak to you next week. So regular communication, I think, is also important.
Yes, and I think that's where you start building the trust as well. And then later on, the client will just let you do the task on your own, because they're already confident that you can do the work.
I think so. And Maya, look, I think that's pretty much all the questions I want to ask you, but there's a final point I want to make, and I think, we're heading into times of economic uncertainty here, and it really makes sense to support existing staff members with offshore workers that don't cost as much, but can actually support your existing team members to be more productive and to focus on the work that they need to be doing, which is going to be around sales and bringing in new business and new customers and really maximizing revenue generation without getting bogged down with the administrative type tasks that offshore do very, very well, and that's their strength.
That's right. So many clients right now, because they're starting to build their businesses, they need the offshore staff more to maintain or manage the database, update the database especially of their clients.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the other trend that's happening is that after the COVID crisis, I don't think as many people are going to go back into large offices anymore. So companies will be looking more for remote workers than ever before. And particularly, I mean, there's obviously a cost benefit, but there's also an opportunity to get experienced remote workers that are more on a contractual basis rather than full-time employees that will be going into an office every day.
Right. So it's a good news for us. So we will be expecting more requirements coming in the next maybe couple of months. Once the start kicking in,
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting time for offshore teams, and I look forward to hearing some more success stories from you, Maya.
I really, really appreciate your time, Tony. Thank you for sharing this, and I hope that it will motivate more Filipinos become more comfortable in applying for online jobs.
I look forward to it, Maya. I think it's the way of work for the future now. It really is.
Yes.
All right, Maya. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.